Hey guys, when I started sharing my rides with this YouTube channel, I never dreamed that it'd be something that would turn into something like this. Granted, I'm not a huge channel out there. A long way to go for that. But my channel has almost received 1 million views. That's quite a staggering number, 1 million views. I mean, who would have thought that? I don't have a really high subscriber count, but really what I've learned over the years, it's really not about subscribers. Actually, the majority of my videos, every time I post one, is a new person. So if you think about it, subscribers will kind of get you a little bit of foundation there, but not much. Most of your views come from new viewers, actually, believe it or not. So this channel started as a hobby. It still is. I still work full time. I still have a day job that pays the bills, but this is just something I enjoy doing. And I've been doing this about 5 years. And one of the things I like to get a kick out of most is reading you guys' comments. I know there's a lot of creators out there that never bother with that at all. They don't leave comments. They don't probably even read them. All they simply do is create. And that's fine. That's a personal choice. But part of the satisfaction for me and my channel is that connection with the audience. I don't know. That's just my nature, I guess. So I like responding to comments. I think it's half the fun. Now, if I get so big, my channel, where I can't do that, that's a different story, but for now I'm going to keep doing it because I enjoy it. We'll do a monthly thing about the top 10 rider comments, and this will be for the month of May. So each month I'm going to go through and I'm going to sift through all the comments, and I'm going to talk about them more in detail, and we'll do about 10 of them. How about that? About 10 a month. So if you want to be featured in a comment, just, it could be anything. It could be funny, it could be hateful, I don't care what it is. It's just about elaborating more on the comment, because I don't like to write a book in the comments, although I do sometimes for my replies. I'd rather talk about it here. So with that said, let's get into the first comment. Actually, this comment, I'm still kind of in conversation with the gentleman online, but this comment is from Shane Richardson. He asked, according to the manual, you should be running premium fuel in that bike. 11-to-1 compression ratio. Obviously, it's up to you, but it makes a difference in my ADV 160. These things are great. Talking about the bike. Yes, I agree. These are great bikes. So I kind of looked at the compression thing in the manual, and mine is actually a little bit different than the 160. Mine is 10.6 to 1, 10.6 to 1. Now, again, I'm not a mechanical engineer. I don't know much about compression, so I don't know if that's going to play a factor in fuel octane or not. I just simply going by the manual. Now, in my manual, and I had to look it up again online because I can't find it in my service manual, but I think it was in my other manual. Anyway, it states that I should be using a PON, which is a octane number. I think it stands for, I forget what P stands for, personal octane number, but a PON of 86 or higher. So when I go to the pump, I just choose 87. That's the lowest one. I don't even think they have an 86. What's funny though is they have an 88. That's cheaper than an 87, so I can't figure that out. But I just stick with 87. I don't know. I've also read that if you go to a higher octane, like a 91 or 93, and you put it in a motor that is not designed for that, it could cause damage. Now, I don't know how true that is. I really don't. But I just stick with 87, and you know what? My bike rides fine. Actually, I did a video on this about 2 years ago talking about the same thing. Is it just a waste of money, or does it really make a difference? Now, Shane, if you use a higher octane and you really do notice a difference on your bike, hey, cool. I'm curious though, do you notice a difference in maybe acceleration or MPGs or what? So I'd be very curious to know what that difference is. So let me know in the comments and we'll continue this conversation. But yeah, thanks to Shane for that. It's a very insightful comment because fuel, just like oil, it can be debated till cows fly. But if you don't know the science behind it, it's really just then turns into an argument. So I am humble enough to say that I am not a mechanical engineer. I'm not a fuel efficiency person. I don't know. I'm just going by what the manual says, and I use 87 for that reason. Next comment. My buddy Julio, how you doing, buddy? He was talking about Pete Rose. I don't know. I did a video where I was riding my bike, and I have a Cincinnati Reds jersey on. I'm from Cincinnati, of course. So Pete Rose, everybody knows the GOAT Pete Rose in baseball. So apparently when he passed away, the band or his ban of baseball was lifted. His ban got removed. Maybe now he gets selected to the Hall of Fame. Yeah, isn't that ironic? When the man passes away, they lift his ban so he could be instated in the Hall of Fame. Why not do that while the man's alive so he can enjoy it for a while? I don't know. It's just one of those political things. It rubbed a lot of people in Cincinnati wrong. Even Marty Brennaman, the old broadcaster, it's just like, he doesn't think that's right. You know, I don't know who controls this stuff, but now that Pete Rose's ban's been lifted, he'll get into the Hall of Fame. I don't have any doubts. He should have been a long time ago. But again, it's just politics. Everything's political these days. It just drives me nuts. But, you know, you have one of the greatest players that ever played the game. I mean, if you look at his stats, I think I saw averaging 200 hits annually for 20 years. I mean, that's unheard of, right? Nobody's ever going to do that ever again. And the man is not allowed in the Hall of Fame because he bet on baseball. Hey, my take is Pete bet on baseball. We all know that. That was proven. But Pete says that he never threw a game for his wagering. He never bet against his team. And I highly believe that. He was not that kind of mindset. Am I right? Am I wrong? I don't know for sure, but I don't think he would have done that. Now, how ironic is it that everybody can bet on baseball now, right? You know, you get your phone, you go to FanDuel or whatever, 365, and you can bet all day long on baseball. Perfectly legal now. Interesting. Yeah, Pete had a rough time, but he'll get into the Hall of Fame, and whether you're a fan of him or not, I don't really care. Being in Cincinnati, he's been part of this city forever, and it was fun watching him. I was a kid at that time, but I've seen plenty of highlights and stuff, and yeah, there's no one like him. So hope you get it, Pete. So our next comment from Chris Kelly. Honda should bring back the ADV, or should bring the ADV 350 and or the Forza 350 to the U.S. market. Yeah, I hear that all the time. I get a lot of comments about the 350. So I did a little research, you know me, and I think the reason they don't bring that to the U.S. market is regulatory hurdles. Importing vehicles not officially released in the U.S. involves navigating complex EPA and DOT regulations, making it challenging for individuals to bring in models like the ADV 350. So you got regulatory hurdles, perhaps. Another one is pricing concerns. So equivalent to U.S. markets, it would be like they sell it in France, which would be equivalent to like $7,200 in the U.S. With import cost, dealer markup, then you're looking at possibly $8,000 to $9,000 for potential buyers. Now, would a 350 that cost you, say, $9,000, $10,000, are you going to pay that much for a 350? I don't know. So it's got to be something where Honda figures that they're not going to be profitable on a 350 here in the U.S. market. I mean, they have all these brilliant people that do these cost analysis and stuff, and you'd think if they'd make a profit, it'd already be here. So there's something going on in that mix that they're not going to make a profit on it, so they're not going to do it. I mean, it's a simple business. So I don't know why they don't do it, but those are just some things that I found that maybe why they can't do it. I don't know. I think if I'm going to spend 10 grand on a bike, I'm not going to buy a 350 ADV. I wouldn't do it. There's a lot of stuff you can buy for 10 grand out there on the market. That's for sure. So anyway, thanks Chris for that comment. Maybe down the road we'll see if the 350 ever gets here, but sounds like it's probably not. So our next comment is from Lewis76. Appreciate the video. He's talking about one of my ADV 150 videos, of course. I'm taking the MSF course next month. Never ridden before, and I'm 48. I feel your pain. I've already got my share of aches. Yep. But I've been looking at this bike seriously. So yeah, 48 years old. Well, I think I was a little older when I bought my ADV 150. Yeah, probably 10 years older. Maybe not quite. 5 to 7 years older. But I kind of did it later in life too. But yeah, that course, I talk about it a lot, that basic rider's course. His is the MSF course. So I guess that stands for motorcycle safety. I don't know what F would stand for, but it's different probably in every state. But anyway, when you take one of these courses, if you're thinking about riding or you want to get back out and riding, I rode when I was in my 20s. I didn't think I needed a course. But when I took that rider's course, I learned so much stuff that I'm like, wow, why didn't I know this? So you do learn a lot, and it just makes the confidence of getting out there on the road a little easier, especially if you're going to start out riding again and you haven't done it for decades like myself. So look into that if you do want to get riding and get something that's going to be light and nimble. And I have plenty of videos that I share about that. You don't have to buy a ADV 150, but you can buy something that's still automatic, and then you don't have to worry about the gears, especially if you're just learning how to ride. But in that rider's course, you will know how to ride a manual bike by the time you leave. Trust me, they go over it, and you're spending a whole day just doing the friction. It gets boring. They do it so much, but they want to instill that muscle memory so you can be confident when you get out and ride. I mean, it's a good course. Whether you have an automatic or a manual bike, I would highly recommend it. So thanks, Lewis. Appreciate the comment there. So our next comment is from Glenn Morris. My name is Glenn Morris. I am 90 years old, and I ride a Honda PCX 160, and I'm still riding, and I don't know when I'll quit. My birthday is March 1935. Hey, Glenn, thanks for chiming in. 90. So, well, I tell you what, that makes me feel pretty good. So I have many, many more years of riding. As long as I can stay off ladders and not break ankles, I'll be good. I blame the wife for that. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, Glenn, yeah, 90 years old, more power to you, pal. That's awesome that you're able to get out there and ride still at that age. I really hope that I can even walk by then at 90. You know, the way I've treated my body, that might be a stretch. But, man, if I could ride even into my 70s and 80s, I'd be thrilled. So that's pretty commendable, Glenn, and that's awesome that you're 90 years old and you can still do that. And this was the comment was based on the video, My Last Ride, where I talk about in the video, when is it time to start considering, putting the keys away? Because, when you get older, your dexterity, your awareness, your balance, it's all a factor. I can tell you that when I fell off the ladder, stuff that I used to do a decade or two ago, I'm starting to struggle with my dexterity. I take a step off the ladder and I don't even know why, but my weight wasn't correct in the right position and the ladder just started to give away. I was not even aware of that. So that tells me right there I'm just getting older and I got to just, be more careful. Simple thing. But yeah, Glenn, 90. That's awesome, man. So thanks for the comment. That's very encouraging, not only to me, but probably a lot of my viewers. So we appreciate you. You stay safe out there, Glenn. So our next comment is from Dr. T. Nice. I am 71 years old. I ride a 150 Lance. It is so easy, just like you're talking about. I ride it to the store and just for fun. Yeah, so another mature gentleman, 71. That's great. Again, if I can ride till I'm 71, I'd be perfectly happy with that. Not sure what a Lance 150 is, honestly. I'd have to Google that one. But hey, this comment was based on the video I did, like the perfect bike. So I was talking about this ADV 150 and why I enjoy it, which I do in a lot of my videos. But yes, thanks Dr. T for that comment. 71, more power to you. I think I have somebody in my last comment that beat you there, 90. So hopefully you can achieve that number too. But that's great that you guys are out there riding and that's what it's all about. Just getting out there and, going to the store just for fun. I like to ride around my neighborhood. It just beats sitting on the couch and rotting away. None of us want to do that. We got to stay active. We got to stay engaged, and riding to me is just part of that. So again, thanks for the comment. So another comment here from GG1 Locomotive Fan. Cool name, but 70 and still riding my ADV 150. Though I'm selling the Honda 750 Shadow, okay? It sits much lower than the ADV, but I'm unsteady negotiating the weight. Yeah, I can see that. And, the 750 Shadow is not, by all means, a heavier bike than a lot of them. But that's still a little beefier than, of course, the ADV 150. So, yeah, again, another gentleman that's 70 years old. And he's selling the Honda 750 Shadow because of the heaviness. So, again, with age, we got to just be honest with ourselves and is this getting too much to handle? And there's no shame in that. We just got to be honest with ourselves and swallow our pride a little bit and, make safety the number one goal. I tell you what, falling off that ladder last week, breaking my ankle, compound fracture in 3 places. Now I got a plate in my ankle and 3 screws at least, and it's going to take a while to heal. And you know what? I don't want to go through that pain again. That sucked. That was a very, very harsh pain that I never felt like anything like that. And I've had kidney stones, but you can get ahead of kidney stones in the hospital with the right amount of medication. When you have a compound fracture, there ain't nothing on this planet that they can take that pain away completely. I got to a pain level of about 5, and that's as low as it would ever get. And so it was excruciating, man. I don't know if you've ever broken a bone, especially a compound fracture. It actually exited the skin a little bit on my ankle, so they consider that a compound anytime it breaks the skin. Man, I just sit up in the garage and my ankle just, boop, it flopped over to the left. I'm like, oh no, that's not right. That's not normal. So I knew I was in trouble, and we just called 911 and I went to the hospital, but I had to be picked up because I could not even move. They had to put me in a splint, and there's no way I could even got to the car. So it is what it is. But, anyway, getting back to riding, yeah, the shadow for our locomotive fan here, just a little bit too heavy. I can understand that. When I sit on other bikes, like at showrooms and stuff, just to check them out, I'm like, oh my gosh, even though it sits low and I could, base flat-footed, I just don't know if I'd be confident riding something that heavy anymore. I really wouldn't. So that's why I like my bike. So anyway, thanks again for that comment. One more thing with our friend from the locomotive fan. Here's a great little thing he said. It's the relationship between rider and machine, propelling my passion upon 2 wheels, the synchronization of gears with my heartbeats, and all senses are as one. Well said. Thank you. And our last comment is from Edgar here. Let's see. 26. I just started riding in January, and I can't imagine not riding and loving it, and I will try to keep fit to stay riding as long as I can. Well, what I can tell you, being, 3 decades older than you, it's all about keeping your body fit. Man, when you get to be my age and above, what I've done to my body when I was younger with sports and stuff, I really feel it now. So if you're only 26, yeah, take care of that body, man. You got to do it, because unfortunately, we have these bodies forever. And when we get up there in age, all that compounded stuff that we've done, silly things over our lives, can really take a toll. So I'm fairly healthy at 57. My body is, but I got aches and pains, chronic pains and things in my knees. And yeah, it's no fun, but it's tolerable. But so anyway, that's pretty cool that you just started riding at 26. And that's early enough where you can really enjoy many, many years of that. So congratulations to you, Edgar, and thanks for the comment. And I think we'll wrap it up now. But again, that's why I like comments so much. So any video of mine, leave a comment, and maybe I'll feature one of your comments on my next month comments video that we're going to call Top Rider Comments. And next one will be June. So these are for May. And I'm going to try to do these every month. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, be safe out there, and we'll see you on the next one.